4 days. That's how long it is until the Cyclocross World Championships officially kick off with Friday's mixed relay event. 4 days. That's like less than 100 hours. So where will we actually be racing? Let's dive into the brand new Centennial Park cyclocross circuit to find out the ins and outs of our World Championship course. So as you well know by now, the Worlds are in the USA for only the second time. But where exactly they held? Use this map to find out. The city is Fayetteville, the country the USA, the state excited. In all seriousness, the Worlds in Arkansas's third largest city of Fayetteville will hopefully be a true spectacle. USA Cycling are certainly doing their best to make it so. The course is based at Centennial Park, home to a new state-of-the-art cyclocross facility, the likes of which we don't even really see over here in the Benelux. The cyclocross course here is the jewel in the crown of a new cycling paradise that the local council are constructing in cooperation with USA Cycling, including features such as this new cross course and mountain bike routes. Construction started back in 2017 and is ready just in time for the World Championships. Centennial Park's debut came earlier this year when Fayetteville hosted the second round of this year's World Cup. The majority of the world's best were here for a race that was absolutely drenched. A massive downpour just before the women's race started made the race incredibly tough. The weather was so bad that even the finish camera got rained out. Despite the weather doing its best to spoil the party, we got our first glimpses of what is an absolutely gorgeous raceway. Centennial Park is a semi-permanent course. The fences get taken down after the race, but the layout and the major features are permanent. The circuit has two permanent major features and they are brilliant. The Mound and Stonehenge are two gorgeous sections of track. The course also has two flyovers that are permanent and are finished off in the same gorgeous construction. So let's take a run through the 3,100 metre track where the Worlds will be won. The on-ride footage that I've used in this video has come from Cannondale CX World's Curtis White. He'll be racing the men's race here. He makes brilliant videos on basically every single course he races. Great little previews just like this one. Go check him out. So obviously we start at the start. A wide section with a few nice first corners. They funnel nicely, thinning the race out before we hit the forest for the first time. This place is generally pretty quick. You wouldn't think it's too bad or too technical, but it is here where Marianne Vos just went missing during the World Cup earlier this year. As we leave the forest, this is the main difference I can work out between the World Cup and World Championships course. Where the World Cup course went straight on the World Championships, we'll see a few little switchbacks here, just to add some extra distance I think. After that we'll head over the first flyover, and after that we start this long winding descent, and it's wide, it's flowing, it looks like a joy to ride. If you'd pave it, it'd be brilliant, and I can imagine the more daring riders could really put the pressure on here if it stays dry. Think Pieterse, Alvarado, Pidcock for example. After this descent, the riders will hit the straightaway, where they'll then keep the pace up, attempting to carry as much speed into the next section, which has been given the moniker of The Climb, a section of track that really deserves a more striking name, if I'm completely honest. During the World Cups, this is where the difference was made. This section is so long, it's so steep, it's where the power riders will come to the fore again. It's tailor-made for someone like Tom Pidcock. Clara Honsinger was doing unspeakable things on this part of the course back in October as well. From here we pass through pit lane number 1, hit this strange switchback, roll over this little rise and dive under the second flyover. The back of the course we see some little rises and some switchbacks before we hit the easiest cobblestone section the world has ever seen. From here on we get the second big power section as we reach the Mound, a two-tiered staircase among the longest we'll see this season. The first half is technically rideable, I've seen Kerry Werner do it, with longer steps, but the stairs get steeper near the top. This thing is designed to completely sap energy. From this moment on they'll go down the steepest and largest drop on the course, flowing through this long straight with a short little jump in it. We're near the end of the course now as we swing over the second flyover, plough down this long straight before we hit the second pit. From here, it's one more obstacle, Stonehenge. Stonehenge might be my favourite part of this track. It's a flowing rise and fall section that curves back in at itself. It's again not hugely technical, but it's really flowing, and I can imagine a full-fledged battle through here near the end of one of the races being utterly gorgeous. Stonehenge finishes with this large banked corner, requiring one last big push before we get thrusted onto the start-finish straight once more for what should be a brilliant sprint. During the World Cups earlier this year, the women's race was 6 laps. Lucinda Brandt was the winner, completing the race in a time of 51 minutes and 46 seconds. Denise Betsema was second, only 9 seconds back. Home favourite Clara Honsinger did one of her typical recovery rides to take a fairly impressive 3rd place at 16 seconds. Keep in mind how bad the weather was, but expect the race again to be some 50 to 55 minutes, depending on how quick the course is whilst dry. Spoiler alert, it'll be lightning fast. I'd venture we'll see between 6 and 8 laps or so. On the men's side, we had a 7-lap race, totalling at 54 minutes and 55 seconds. Quinten Hermans took his first and so far only World Cup win on the day, putting 37 seconds into Eli Iserbyt and 49 into Michael van Toerenhout. Once again, the weather was dreadful back in October, and the Worlds will aim to be slightly longer, around the hour mark. So expect this race to be some 7 to 10 laps, depending on the weather of course. In the dry, this place will be incredibly fast and incredibly flowing. There's tough sections, but it suits riders more with large engines. Riders I'd favour on the day are the ones who have road experience. Tom Pidcock, Quinten Hermans, Lucinda Brandt, Marianne Vos, Shirin van Androoy, Zoe Backstedt, people like that. Riders who have road experience. Alternatively, a rerun of a wet October edition would again favour more similar riders, but you could add the mud lovers to the mix, the ones that can really plough through the slow, sticky terrain. People like Toon Aerts, Clara Honsinger, Magali Rochette, Gage Hecht, and maybe Cameron Mason. Truth be told, I find it really difficult to figure out who I favour on this track, because honestly everybody should be pretty good here. The course doesn't have too much in the way of technical difficulties. It's really about finding your flow, which generally you'd expect most pros to do. If anything, I'm just desperately curious too. I can't wait for Friday, I can't wait for the party to start, and I can't wait to find out who masters the brilliant Centennial Park Raceway.